Look at the cell here. He's humanized. It just doesn't make any sense. We're going to take a look at 3 clips. First, SmackDown the night before SummerSlam 2024. Then 2 different camera angles from the pay-per-view. And even with these 3 angles, I don't get a definitive look of what I'm guessing, my educated guess, as to why Jacob Fatu was grabbing that shin, which is he hit the edge of the table. Not in this particular one, and I'm going to show you the difference. He comes right down on Cody, hits Cody, and he almost pops up onto his feet, which means he bounces off Cody and his shins do not hit the edge of the table. And he kind of sells over like a regular splash. Now, we're going to go right here. And I'm going to go, actually his hands didn't even hit. He had so much force splashing Cody that he bounced up almost onto his feet, which would have been pretty cool if he did that. But as he comes down, there is that impact space, but he's able to sell. And there's no pad underneath. Like people say that pad really does protect you when it's underneath a hard surface. So this splash kind of, although it is a very dangerous spot that I really wish they wouldn't do the night before a pay-per-view, this was pretty much done to perfection. And here's the SummerSlam one. Now you're seeing a flipped image, by the way. So when he grabs the left shin, it's actually his right shin. In the next fan cam clip, we're going to see that. Now this particular one here could have resulted in a multitude of injuries for Jacob. Number one, you got your elbow here. You got your wrist there. You got your other hand and wrist there. You got your shoulder there. Meaning when you come down here, you can pop out your elbow, dislocate your shoulder, sprain or break your wrist. Then you got the other one right here. Little happy face for that. And then afterwards, he literally rolls over. And for the people that say he's just selling, he rolls right off of Cody and grabs right there on his shin. Kind of the side of the ankle, the front of the shin area. Here, he could have jammed his knee. He could have hurt his knee. The impact could have popped anything in the front of that leg. So the people that are saying it's just a sell, meaning that he's making pretend that he's hurt as part of an angle or a storyline, it doesn't make much sense. The reason being, he's an indestructible enforcer for the bloodline. Why would he sell an injury? Why would he do that? And he just won the tag belts the night before. So I would think this was a scary, kind of banged up injury, because Triple H in the press conference said he got banged up pretty good. So here's the splash from a different camera angle. I think he did hit right there. You can see, I'm just saying that this is very close. If you can see right here, right on the edge of that table, right on the edge, and he rolls right over. There's a ref selling right there. There you go. Actually, frowny face right there, a angry face. So he rolls right over and basically grabs that shin. I mean, look at the way he's selling right there. And the time before on SmackDown, he's selling the wind got knocked out of him from the splash, because it legitimately usually does knock the wind out of both guys. But here, he's selling a body part that has nothing to really do with the move. Now, they could be kind of accurate that the splash, in this sense, would take him out of the match to where he couldn't interfere once again. But you're risking a character, a strong character, like I said, that's indestructible, invulnerable, an enforcer. Think about it, James. He doesn't sell DDTs. He doesn't sell any kind of head trauma. But look at the sell here. He's humanized. Whereas with all the other spots where he's not selling the actual offense of the babyface, he's not going to sell that, but he's selling this, and it's supposed to make him a stronger character. It just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, as Stevie makes his way back to the seated position, I've got a couple of questions for you, actually. In fact, one other video that we've not shown, but there was a fan cam footage out there of the referees helping Jacob Fatu out. And as you said before, he's an unstoppable monster. What's an unstoppable monster getting help from 2 referees getting carried out, unless it's a real injury, of course?
Yeah, that really does step it up to the legitimacy of hopefully just getting banged up, getting a little bit of a, shin thing that you're going to be limping for days. I know everybody has stubbed their toe and especially hit their shin against a coffee table, a piece of furniture, whatever it might be, a desk, and you are almost limping around for the rest of the day. So he's no different than that. There's no protection. You can't strengthen up your shin bone to hit the edge of a table on a splash. So yeah, when they showed that, rather than if it was something just to take himself out of the match, then you just lay there like your wind's knocked out and you can't stand up. And then when everything happens, you either peel back through the crowd or you stay low and go side, the side exit by the ramp. You just keep yourself low so you're not seen on camera. In this case, you know, around the head and over the shoulders of two referees, taking pressure off that right leg to limp away, it's not a good look. And, that's the Murphy's Law of injuries, like leg injuries. He got a leg injury when there was like a 4-mile entrance from the gorilla position. So what a rib on him.
There's something else that I've heard as well that what bring to your attention. So some of the internet journalists and that kind of thing have said that, or popularized the theory that Jacob was actually selling on the outside because when Roman Reigns made his triumphant return, they didn't want Roman touching Jacob. They only wanted Roman getting to solo Sikoa, and then, the Jacob Fatu attack would happen afterwards. But there's so many ways, Jacob could have just rolled out and left the ring. But the other thing is why would Roman Reigns have saved Cody from a one-on-one beatdown? Surely it would be a two-on-one beatdown, and then the babyface Roman evens the odds.
Well, all those are great questions that were not answered on Monday Night Raw as we're recording this video. So hopefully we'll eventually get answers. Obviously people asking questions of why he did what he did, how was the relationship with Cody, all that stuff. That's great. But now you have 6 days to SmackDown where in this short attention span society, they may not even remember Roman Reigns came out by Friday. They'll remind him with ad nauseum packages and B-roll and recaps and stuff like that. But I think it would have really spiked the Raw rating to have him come out and explain why he did it and have him and Cody talk about whatever.
Talking about tables and how to put someone through a table without hurting yourself, especially the announce table, because there's more variables than, just a fold-out table. Sometimes you've got cables everywhere, you've got monitors there sometimes if you don't clear the table. You don't, even though they're like specifically designed to break away, you never quite can predict how they're going to break away. What is the best position to put someone through the announcer's table as far as the victim, how near or far they are to the lip of the table, and where is the impact supposed to be? Is it torso, chest? And with Jacob, he was putting on SmackDown, he was putting his feet on the floor basically before putting him through.
Well, no, I think more accurately with the SmackDown splash through the announce table, there was so much force, he bounced up almost onto his feet. I don't think he meant to put his feet forward, and that could be why he hit his shins at SummerSlam. Maybe he was trying to put his feet down to splash, like land and splash, and that would he's almost better off staying completely flat, splashing, keeping those legs out and everything so he doesn't hit his shin. Because that table, and that'd be an excellent whiteboard segment actually, the difference between your standard Staples, Office Max, Home Depot table versus the announce table, because they don't break. The announce table collapses. In other words, it's gimmicked underneath. That's why they have that great pad that helps out so great. But a standard folding table, the wooden table that usually they gimmick by taking a lot of the crossbars and stuff off the bottom, that splits down the middle. That's why, like, if you're doing a spear, like Rhino doing a spear through a table in the corner, it's laid up diagonally like this because the break will be in the center here where my palm is. Whereas the announce table underneath like this is where it just collapses, because that'd be great if it did that, but it just comes down into a flat thing and then, let's rebuild it very easy. A technology standpoint of the reusing and the recycling of the announce table is actually an ingenious way to keep your costs down.
It's an ingenious solution to a problem that should never really have existed in the first place, but somehow does in the wacky world of professional wrestling. That a table that's just constantly going to have people put through it needs to be rebuilt very quickly.
Yeah, and independent wrestling would probably, but then again, the split of the table this way, it's more visual. The only thing I would say WWE does a great job with those tables, and even though it might hurt because there's no give really, besides, like I said, I keep having to mention that incredibly well-placed pad underneath the hard surface. But I can't let go of that when people say, oh, of course, the pad's underneath it. But with that being said, Bob Holly, remember Bob Holly got injured against Rob Van Dam?
Mm-hmm.
If it was the announce table, they just both would have went down straight. When that table splits, I think, man, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I believe God is watching over people most times because so much can go wrong. The bar can come up and impale you. Just the wood shavings can scrape your back beyond repair, or you get the edge of the table like Bob did with that plastic band that comes up and slices like a razor blade. I'm shocked, and that's where WWE does a great job. I think they knew, yeah, people are getting hurt or banged up or scraped, or maybe there's just got to pick out splinters. We got to redesign these tables to do what we need them to do and reuse them to where you buy it once and you don't have to replace it.
There was also, because you mentioned Rob Van Dam with Bob Holly, Rob Van Dam also famously got his eyelid nearly ripped off by an errant splinter of table. And the thing that gets me the most is he reached for it and nearly pulled it off, thinking he didn't even know what it was.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. It's a good thing I'm fasting this morning. But yeah, I mean, there's so much. That's the overarching theme with pro wrestling. So much can go wrong. So much should go wrong, but it doesn't. Even with the pros, Bob Holly, Rob Van Dam, all these people that have gotten injured with these table spots, throughout history, it's really, really a dangerous thing. We've done an ECW when Raven put Anthony, Pitbull number 2, through the table with the double dog collar match. That table disintegrated to where Raven could have gotten in his eye. Anthony could have gotten in his eye. Anthony they did a full-blown pile driver and just splinters went everywhere, and much less the fans in the first row. Those people should get hazard pay at ECW because we've done everything from light them on fire, accidentally hit them with chairs, legitimately fight them on house shows. Yeah, it's an interactive experience.